Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's July 25th, 2025, and it is 30 degrees outside. With the humidity, it feels like 38, so it is a warm one out there. But today, I got together with my sister and my father, and we went out towards the beach. And so we got a little cooler out there, and we had lunch out there. So I'll show you a few of those things right at the very end and talk about the restaurant that we went to this week. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stay right till the end. Today is mail day, so got some mail to go through. We've got Steve from Australia's Limerick and fun facts to do. Mindy from Nova Scotia's dad jokes. And I said jokes because yes, there are two this week as a result of mail delays and it catching up. There's some post-crossing in here. I think we've got 3 official post-crossing cards that came in this week. Surprise cards, prize mail, direct swaps, all sorts of fun things to get to today. And we will very soon. So make sure you like, you subscribe, you leave positive comments, you share with other people, and you put the notification bell on so you don't miss out on anything. Before I get into the mail, I want to talk about Snailmail with Smokey. If you are a follower of his channel, you will have noticed that yesterday he put out a video that said, all things, and of course, must end is the end of that. As he's stepping away from YouTube. Very sad to see that. I saw the thumbnail pop up. I stopped what I was doing. I watched the video right away. I sent him a message on Instagram, so we talked back and forth for a little bit about it. I left a message on his video as well, as I've been watching other people's great comments that are on the videos. Yeah, it's mixed emotions seeing that he is stepping away. So that is the end of Stamp versus Stamp as we know it. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll grace me with his presence and we'll do something again. Who knows? But I understand. It was a hard decision for him to make. He's got a lot of things going on in his life and he's focusing his energy on those things now instead. It's not easy to be a full-time creator on YouTube. You're constantly trying to come up with ideas. You're keeping up to a schedule, whether that be if you put out a video once a week, once a month, once a day. Yeah, it's all very taxing to do it. So it's not for everyone to do, but sometimes you have to make that choice in life, what you want to do and where you want to spend your energy. So I commend him on making the right decision for him. And I know he'll be great in whatever he does. And I still have that friendship with him. So I will still communicate with him back and forth, even if we're not having banter back and forth here on YouTube as we once were. But thank you, Smokey, for everything you've done for the philatelic community, for all the wonderful videos. If you haven't seen his channel, you can still go back and watch all the videos he has up there and continue to support him that way. He's done some great content, so I'm sad to have him leave the YouTube family, but I know he'll be great and with his family and grandkids and church family. There's a lot of stuff going on in his life. So thank you so much, Smokey. I did want to do that. All right, let's get into the mail. And then before I let you go and before we talk about the restaurant and my time with my father and my sister today, I will bring up what's happening this weekend as far as videos and what you can expect from That Dad Guy over the weekend. All right, let's get right into it. The first postcard I want to show you. Awesome postcard. It's a shaped postcard. This one comes from Hong Kong, comes from Caroline, and she says, warm greetings from Hong Kong. I recently came across a set of gotochi postcards about post boxes around the world. This is one of them, and the post box is of Turkey. And then she says she's never watched One Piece, but she does have some One Piece stickers. And why I mention that, I always say that I like the One Piece, the live action that's on Netflix, and the cartoon, of course. There's some beautiful stamps, but there are some One Piece stickers that she's adorned over this really cool card. So thank you, Caroline, for that. The next card comes from Gunther in Germany. And so we have this beautiful German architecture. And of course, some of these buildings have been around for many, many years, longer than probably most of Canada's been along as we know it. And he says that he's retired, but he says, I hope I like this card. Best wishes. And so I do. There's my stamps. So thank you, Gunther. The next card comes all the way from the United States. It comes from Kentucky. And it says, we're known for KFC, in other words, Kentucky Fried Chicken, horses, the Kentucky Derby, of course, and Kentucky Bourbon. It says she's not been to an F1 race, but has been to the Indy races and several times. And then this card comes from Lauren, if I forgot to mention that. And she says her favorite driver are Alexander Rossi in Indy and Carlos Sainz in F1. There's the forever stamp. So thank you, Lauren, for all that, for the facts and places about your state and the state of Kentucky. That's it for Postcrossing. The next one is a surprise card that showed up. And it's a hedgehog card. And this one comes from Rose, who says she lives in the USA, doesn't say what state, and I don't see a cancellation on this, so I'm not quite sure where in the US she's from. But she says it's very sunny, and I hope your days are sunny as well. So my days are sunny. They're going really well. There's that very hot right now. So whether you're in sunny California, sunny Florida, sunny Georgia, sunny North Carolina, I don't know where you are, but thank you so much, Rose, for reaching out. There's no return address on here, so I'll just say thank you for watching the channel and sending a message. The next comes from a Christian. He went to a meetup, and this is the card from that particular meetup. This wonderful lady eating what looks like apricot dessert, and maybe there's an apricot beverage based on what's there, and looks delicious. And there are the people in attendance and the butterfly cancellation over the stamp. So thank you, Christian, for that. Oh yeah, and who else was at that one? There's a second meetup card. This one comes from Carl, who's also in Austria and also sends me wonderful meetup cards. There are the people in attendance there and the stamp. Different cancellation, same stamp. So is this the same meetup? 405 meetings in Kremia. So two different meetup cards, but from the same meetup. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Before we go further, let's have a little humor. Let's break it up a bit. We have this card. This one comes from Mindy, and it was sent on July the 6th, so it took 16 days for me to actually receive this card. This was dad joke number 2. I told you dad joke number 1 and number 3. Number 2 got lost somewhere in the mail. I don't know why it took 16 days. I can tell you that none of the stamps were canceled, so I'm not sure where it ended up. Maybe it ended up between a bin somewhere and never made it here until someone found the card. Who knows what happened, but it has arrived. So patience pays off and it comes. So dad joke number 2 is, so a man assaulted me with milk. How dare he? And that's from Mindy. And there are the beautiful stamps, not canceled. Man assaulted me with milk. How dare he? You really have to know the English language. So if English is not your first language and you're not getting the jokes, I apologize. I could be writing them up on the screen, but there is subtitles and things you can use too. All right, let's stick with Mindy's card. And this card showed up. This one was mailed on the 18th, and I got it about the 22nd or 23rd as well. So came here much quicker in a much appropriate time. Beautiful, beautiful flower stamps. Mindy's great at using older postage to get the mail here. I really appreciate that, of the cards that she sends. All right, so here we go. Joke number 4, dad joke number 4. Every morning I announce I'm going running to my family. I don't go, it's just a running joke. There you go. Thank you so much, Mindy. I really like these cards. I'm not sure how many other people are getting the humor. I get it. I like it. Thank you so much. Well, the next card, gotta cover up the address here. This card showed up. I didn't put something over it. Nice Lego card. It says, I hope, this comes from Martin in Germany. And he says, I hope this card finds you well. Enjoy your special cancellation. Because he's included the new Lego stamps with a Lego cancellation. That's awesome, Martin. I really appreciate that. A Lego card, Lego stamps, Lego cancellation. That's just about everything you want from a Lego fan. So I really appreciate it. The next card comes from Monty and Violet in Saskatchewan. And here we have a Smarties case top. So he's made this card himself. You can see the stickers all on the back. He's from Saskatchewan, so Saskatchewan Rough Riders CFL logo right there. We've got some older stamps. We've got the Winnipeg Jets Zamboni there and Queen Elizabeth II. And he says, I hope you find this card. I hope this card finds you well. Summer's plodding along. Yeah, summer's getting along pretty quickly at this rate. He said, pretty soon the harvest will start. The folks at the local co-op, now co-op's a local grocery store, are saving the tops of various candies for him. So that's where he got this. In Canada, Smarties are these. These are candy-coated chocolates, come in a box, come in a tube at Christmas time. But if you're in the U.S., Smarties are something completely different. They're more of a circular chalk-like thing that come in a plastic wrap in a tube, basically. Tube format. Very different. Our Smarties are superior, yeah, because it's chocolate. No, they're very different candies, but yeah. So when an American talks about Smarties and a Canadian talks about Smarties, they're two completely different candies. All right, so thank you, Monty, for that. The next card is another meetup card. This one comes from Steffi in Germany. This is the Ministers Meetup in Munster. There's the stamp. There are all the attendees. So thank you, Steffi. Speaking of meetups, we've got another meetup card. This one comes from Kathy in Ontario. And you can see that it was a virtual meetup. I was asked to attend this one. Unfortunately, it was a bit later in the evening. And as I get up for work quite early, I passed on being a part of it. But what's really cool, all the people that were able to be there that had put in their different monikers, they put them all on here. So you can see it was quite well attended. There's the blue rodeo stamp as well up there. So thank you, Kathy. I wasn't able to be there. I'm glad you were able to be on it. And now I have a little piece of what everybody did. Part of me regrets not going on it because it was the 20th anniversary. I'm not going to be able to do next year and say I was at the 20th. It'll be the 21st. So it was a milestone one. I wrote a card for the 20th to celebrate. I sent out some messages to people on the 20th. That's how I did it quietly. And hobby-like. So, yeah, part of me regrets not being on that virtual to be one of them. But when you have a ton of people on it, you don't really get to talk a lot either. So it's more of watching other people's pictures in the Zoom call. I guess it ran for an hour too. It was quite a long Zoom call. So it would have been a real late night for me. Thank you so much, Kathy. All right, the next card. One of those vintage-esque cards. I had this series as well. I still have some of the cards in the series. It was one of the first series of cards, postcards that I bought. I bought it off Amazon because people liked vintage cards. Now, these aren't vintage. These are reproductions of them, but still really nice cards. This comes from Joseph in Nevada, and he sent this as a result of me sending a vintage one to him. And he says he's going to see the Disney. Now, this was started July, so he's already happened. His wife's birthday was coming up. They decided they were going to go see Newsies, and hopefully they really enjoyed it, and she had a good birthday. So happy belated birthday to your wife. And there's the forever stamp. So thank you so much, Joseph. The next comes from, just cover this up. This envelope here comes from Jessica in North Carolina. And inside of the envelope, we have a thank you card. So it wasn't necessarily that she did this, but I appreciate that she sent a thank you card nonetheless. The reason why, her niece was graduating high school. She reached out and said, anybody like to send a message to her of encouragement on what to expect in university or college, some memories, all those sort of things. So I did send a card for that, and she was just sending a thank you. So I appreciate it, but was highly unnecessary. The next card comes from our friend Olia in Poland, who is in Postcards on YouTube. You want to check out her videos. She has a great... I had to finish that sentence. If you want to check her out, you can do that too. But if you want to check out her videos, I'm sure she'd really appreciate it. She does an amazing job. Her penmanship, her decorating skills are beyond anything you've ever seen, I think. And here we are. This stamp is her and her husband celebrating their anniversary. Had stamps made up. And then here she is too. These are really cool sticker stamps that look like negatives from photography. You can see her writing, her decorating skills all to good use on this. Really love this. Glad she had a great family trip, and that I got one of the cards with the very special stamp. So as a stamp collector, I love seeing that, but that stamp will definitely stay on that postcard. It means a lot there. The next thing I have to show you, thank you, Olivia. The next thing I have to show you, let me just once again fix the address here. It comes from Stephen in Montana. He sent this. You can see it's well covered in stamps. And he recently asked me to trade some stamps with me and asked for a certain list. I didn't have a lot from that particular first list he had. So he sent me these stamps. I will show you what's in this at a later date. But he's also given me a more complete list of things that he collects. So that gives me more options to go out there and look on the world stage of duplicates and things that I have to be able to fulfill some of the things he's collecting. So thank you so much, Stephen, for giving me a better, broader range of things that I can look for. So that was Stephen from Montana. How about Steve or Stephen from Australia? That brings us to Limerick time. And it says, "All hail mighty Canadian postcard king, your most esteemed majesty. The celestial bodies have moved on their paths once more, and for those who can read the signs, it is clear that yet another 7 days have elapsed, meaning that once again it is time for Friday fun and frolics. That being the case, I offer up one more meager rhyme to elucidate, and with a little good luck, perhaps amuse. This week's personage was a renowned traveler and scientist who certainly put the cat among the pigeons by proposing that in fact cats and pigeons were not closely related as species, thereby throwing into disrepute centuries of learning that may have hitherto suggested that in fact they might have been. Without further ado, may I submit the following for your enjoyment and a delight. Historical legendary, Limerick, number 29, Charles Darwin. Charlie Darwin liked to sail on the sea, making theories about you and me. He left folks a gap when he looked at an ape and compared us to a wild chimpanzee. Can you imagine? Good old Chuck Darwin. All right, fun facts about Charles Darwin. Number 1. Charles Darwin had several nicknames. At school, he acquired the nickname of Gas. This was not due to any propensity for flatulation, as the name might suggest, but rather due to his love of chemistry, which led him to conduct smelly experiments, presumably delighting his fellow classmates while exasperating his teachers. As a young naturalist on board the HMS Beagle, he was called Phyllis, not Phyllis, Philos, because of his intellectual pursuits and fly catcher. When his shipmates tried him filling the when shipmates tired of him filling the ship with his collections, later in his life when he became a leader of the scientific community, journalists referred to him as Sage of Down or the Saint of Science. But his friends Thomas Henry Huxley privately called him the Tsar of Down and Pope of Science. His own favorite nicknames was the Stultus Fool? Stultus the Fool. I don't know that nickname. And he often signed letters and scientific friends with Stultus. This name refers to his habit of trying experiments most people would prejudge to be fruitless or fool's experiments. Number 2. Prior to marrying his first cousin, Emma Wedgwood, the granddaughter of Josiah Wedgwood, who founded the famous Wedgwood pottery firm, Darwin made a pros and cons list, with the pros side including such considerations as children, constant companion, and charms of music and female chit-chat. Compared with his cons, such as loss of time and less money for books, it would seem that the pros did win over the cons in the end, and they married when he was 29 and she was 30. Quite old to be getting married in those days. They went on to have 10 children, 7 of whom made it to adulthood. Of those who did, several were prominent in their fields. 3, all scientists, even received knighthoods, something Darwin himself never achieved. Wow. Married his first cousin. Didn't know that. All right. Fun fact number 3. While at Cambridge, Charles Darwin was founding member and president of the Glutton Club, a group of students who met weekly to try unusual and strange flesh. The club's goal was to sample and cook birds and beasts previously unknown to their palates. They famously ate a hawk and a bittern, but the club ended after the unpleasant experiment with a brown owl, which was described as indescribable. Darwin later suffered from ill health. I can't imagine why. Bonus fact, page 2. Charles Darwin initially studied medicine with the hope that he would become a doctor like his father, but left the course early as he couldn't stand the sight of blood. He later studied taxidermy, so perhaps it was only human blood he wasn't keen on. And now, all that's left for me is to wish you and the noble viewers, and perhaps any peasants who may be watching, a good weekend. So have a good weekend, everyone. Best wishes, Steve in Australia. Excuse me. That brown owl went down the wrong way. So I'm like, wow. Oh, look, I'm all tan now. Well, Steve, once again, you've done it. You've come up with some fun facts and interesting things about Charles Darwin that I didn't know about. Some kind of gross, too. But yeah, whew, I just choked on my own thoughts, I think. Well, that brings me to the end. So what's happening this weekend? Well, tomorrow, I'm going to another car show. On Wednesday, you saw a car show at a local restaurant, A&W. It was quite well attended. There's one that I've been meaning to go to for a while, but it's in the town of St. Martin's, which isn't real. I mean, it's close, but not that close. It's almost a 2-hour drive from Moncton. So we're going to leave early tomorrow morning to go to that. And so I can present that in a video. Hopefully will come out later tomorrow. But with that being the case and me being a bit back in the country, tomorrow's live stream at 12 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time, I am going to postpone till Sunday. I hope that doesn't affect too many of you who are regulars that are on it. Hopefully those regulars are watching this video so they get the notice about it. But it will be at Sunday, 12 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. We'll do the live stream. That way, I won't feel constricted that I have to do something and be in a place where I can find internet coverage to go live tomorrow. I can be a little bit more relaxed. And as I'm traveling down there with my wife and her parents, I want it to be a fun getaway to do it. So that's what's going to happen. Tomorrow's live stream, the weekly live stream is going to happen. Just not on Saturday. It's going to happen on Sunday instead. So look for that video if you want to be a part of the community and our weekly chit chat. It will be Sunday, 12 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. And so the same time as normal, just one day later. Well, that is it for today. The only thing left at the very end, you want to see where my sister and my father and I went to have lunch and where we did it, stay right to the end. You guys have a nice
Like Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye. So today we had lunch here in Capellet at Resto 577. What did you guys have?
What did you have, Dad? You had fish and chips?
Fish and
Fish and chips.
Carolyn, what did you have?
I had seafood casserole.
And I had fish tacos or shrimp tacos. They're really good.
It was really good.
Yeah, a nice experience.
Did you enjoy it, Dad?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was lovely.
Yeah, we're right here by the water, so it's kind of nice to get away from Moncton and try something different. Right?